Imam Siraj doesn't need any introduction. He's a very well-known renowned speaker, and we always listen his marvelous speeches all the time. Please, Imam, shed some light on the topic.
Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah
Walaikum
ar-Rahman
assalam.
ar-Rahim. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillahi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I want to first say that I'm grateful to Allah, humbled to have this opportunity to speak for a few moments. I don't speak really long time. I try to say, I think what is significant, and I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide me, to guide my tongue and my heart, that I can make some meaningful contributions, and I think that inshallah we will benefit. I want to
Inshallah.
start with the topic, Islam in the 21st century. I want to let people know something about this planet. We live on this planet. We share this planet, 196,940,000 square miles. We share it with 8 billion people. Among the 8 billion people, 2 billion Muslims, 2 billion Christians, 1,100,000,000 um, Hin- um, Hindu, 500 million Buddhists, 25 million Sikhs, and about 13 million Jews. And everyone has the right to practice their religion as they see fit. Allah reminds us, La ikraha fid-din, there's no compulsion in religion. What about Islam? The Prophet ﷺ said, Nahnu akhiruna. We are the last. So other people came before us. What is our relationship with those who came before us, those who had religion before us? And I think it's important for Muslims to realize our relationship with everybody on the planet Earth. You talk about uh, Christians, and I have a unique situation among the Muslims that I was born Christian. I was born in a Christian family, and my mother made me go to church. I remember one day I was living in the Marcy Projects Sunday morning, and I was getting ready for church. And I said, why do we have to go to church anyway? I said that to my mother, 7 years old. So she took out a belt and she hit me a couple of times and then asked the question, now do you understand why you got to go to church? I said, yes, ma'am. But I didn't, because she didn't explain it to me. So I went to church, alhamdulillah. I taught in Sunday school. And if anyone knows my history, if you know about Malcolm X, the Hajj Malik Shabazz, he was in an organization called Nation of Islam. And I left the church at a very young age, and I went to college at New York University. And as a student at New York University, we were sitting down in the cafeteria, and some brothers from the Nation of Islam came and sat down next to me and said, how you doing, my black brother? And that was the beginning of my joining the Nation of Islam. I was in the Nation of Islam under the teachings of Elijah Muhammad. I was in the nation for about 8 years. Alhamdulillah, in 1975, Mr. Elijah Muhammad died, and his son becomes the new leader of the Nation of Islam. And immediately, Imam bin Muhammad taught us about Islam, the same religion that the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him, taught 1400 years ago. And it was then that I became a Muslim, and having the belief in Islam and having the belief in all of the prophets. That's my beginning, and that's where I want to start today, inshallah, about Islam. Who are we? We believe in God, Allah. It is inconceivable for me to believe that all of this existence, all of these people just came into existence by itself. And the beautiful thing about Islam is recognizing those prophets that came before. We don't only believe in Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him, we believe him as the last prophet, or we believe in all the prophets. Let me give you an example. in New York City. We have 1,500,000 Muslims in New York City, 300 masjids, 30 full-time Muslim schools, and 10,000 Muslim businesses in New York City. You know, what do we teach? What do we teach in those masjids? Those Muslims, what do they believe? We believe in the oneness of God. That's true. But we believe in all the prophets. In Brooklyn, there's a masjid called Masjid Dawood, the masjid of David. David was a great prophet, you know. And then in Queens, there's a masjid called Masjid Isa ibn Maryam, Jesus, the son of Maryam. And in the Bronx, a masjid called Masjid Musa, the masjid of Moses. So when you look at Muslims, they carry the names not only of Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him. Many people, they call themselves Muhammad. But there are Muslims who call themselves Isa, after Jesus, Dawood, after Prophet David, Moses, after Prophet Musa, Moses. So the Muslims, alhamdulillah, are required to believe in all the prophets and also to believe in Yom al-Akhir, that this life isn't the end of life. If there was no life after death, this life would have no meaning. What's the point? If God created us, we live and we die, that's it? Nothing? So that in the teachings of Islam, as in teachings of other faith, we believe in Yom al-Akhir, that is life after death. And the Prophet ﷺ said that there's no life except the life of the hereafter. Think about it. We live and we die. We eat, old age, and then we die. And that's it? It doesn't make sense. And so we believe in Yom al-Akhir. What is it like? The Prophet ﷺ said, Lakin la nabiyya ba'di. There is no prophet after me. We're not looking for a new prophet because the prophet, peace and blessing be upon him, came with the last revelation, the Quran, and to teach us how to live in this life, how to live with other people. And the realization is that there's going to be a consequence of everything that we do. Allah is in charge. To believe in one God, the belief in Allah who knows everything that we do. And so, alhamdulillah, why Islam in the 21st century? I cannot imagine living in a world where this is it. That's it. People die. People blind. All of these things that happen in this life, it doesn't make sense if there's no life after death. So we believe, as a Muslim, we believe in life after death. We believe in all of the prophets. We have a special relationship with called the people of the book. The Muslims, alhamdulillah, not only believe in our Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him, but we believe in every prophet. Masjid Isa ibn Maryam, in the Bronx, Masjid Dawood in Brooklyn, and all over named of these great prophets. So alhamdulillah, we are here as Muslims to share our faith with the rest of the world, to realize that this life has no meaning unless there's a hereafter. Think about it. You die, you live. What was the point? What was the point? Alhamdulillah. Who's Muslims? Everyone has a right. I'm blessed because I was a Christian minister, if you would. And the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, إِذَا عَمَنَا رَجُلٌ بِإِيسَى ثُمَّ آمَنَ بِي فَلَهُ أَجْرَانِ. Whoever believes in Jesus and then believes in me will have a double reward. And that's the beautiful thing about Islam. How are we going to live? How are we going to live in this life? And that's the crucial issue that Islam answers, alhamdulillah. So we're here in these modern times, but Allah has given us a book a book to guide us how we should live, how should we help one another, help ye one another in righteousness and the fear of Allah. And that is what we do as Muslims. So I want to basically conclude with saying that we have a great job to do as Muslims in this society. You know, we are a minority in this country, but our job is to try to help the people anywhere we go. I'll give an example of our community, my community years ago when after we became a Muslim. We moved into an area in Brooklyn where we opened up our masjid, and the police officer told me that, Imam, your masjid is in the worst area of the city. We had 15 drug houses. We had crime all over the places. So when the Muslims came in that area, what are we going to do? We're not like everyone else. We believe in Allah and we believe in the last day. Therefore, we do things that we're supposed to do to make life better for the rest of the world. History will reveal that these Muslims, alhamdulillah, we closed down 15 drug houses
Mashallah.
in the area of our masjid, and the police told us that that area, which was the worst, has become the best in the city, has become a model. Our job is not just to practice, to worship and to fast as we do, but our job is to make a big difference in the world that we live, to enjoin the good and forbid the evil. That's what Islam does. That's what it does in the 21st century. Our job is to make life better for everyone else, realizing that everyone has a right to practice their religion as they seem fit. La ikraha fi din, there's no compulsion in religion. So if we're living in the 21st century, then we have to deal with issues that affect everybody. And the fact of the matter is that the Muslims are people who care about the society, who care about ourselves, who care about our health. And so may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us again. I want to thank the forum for having this occasion. And I didn't mean to speak long. I didn't plan to speak long. I just wanted to lay down the foundation to have a discussion uh, about the significance of this great religion that doesn't only deal with the hereafter, but deals with the now to make life better for the rest of the world. Jazakallah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi